You're watching Inside Automotive with Shyann Malone.
Hi everyone, I'm Shyann Malone. Welcome to Inside Automotive. Understanding the wants and needs of consumers today has become critical. Today we're exploring the preferences, expectations, and even the implications for dealerships as seen in the annual user experience study by Jeff Wyler Automotive Family. We're joined now by Kevin Frye, the marketing director of Jeff Wyler Automotive. Thanks so much for joining us today. We really want to break down this study, Kevin, and kind of, basically what jumps out at you at first look.
Well, let me share this. One of the things that I often share is whenever you have a big decision in automotive, we always ask ourselves the same question: does this make us more consumer facing? And if the answer is yes, you're going to win pretty much every time. So that makes it very important. You need to know, hey, what is consumer facing? What is a consumer thinking? So one of the things we do each year is we do a user experience study where we reach out, we get 10 to 12 people of different backgrounds. We bring them into our studio and then we video them and ask them a series of relevant questions so that we can be best in touch with the modern day consumer and be best consumer facing.
And what are some of the things you learned from this experience?
Well, one of the things we were curious about, and there's several, is when you follow up on a lead, how much follow-up is enough or how much is too much? And the responses we got really weren't too surprising. Most of the people were like, hey, 2 to 3 times is enough follow-up. But what is more important when you look at this is that form conversion as we know it has significantly dropped by up to 70% across the last 5 years. Why? Because our consumers have learned that across the last 10 to 20 years, if they submit a form, we are going to barrage them with follow-up. So that's one component that we got to balance how much follow-up we have. But the other thing that's really interesting to understand is that the modern day consumer wants real-time answers. I mean, where online today in your shopping experience are you filling out forms? It's like automotive is the last bastion. So we were the first to lead in the industry by basically removing almost all of the forms on our website as a result and replacing that with live chat so they can get the real-time answers. And then based on this UX study, we're trying to scale back a bit with our follow-up so that we don't annoy them.
Why do you think the modern shopper really, prefers to communicate online like that then? More convenient, shopping at all hours of the night, a little bit of everything?
We're getting a mix of that too. So there's 2 components here as well. We're actually getting an even split amongst people, whether they prefer to follow up with text, email, or phone calls. Okay. So what that tells us is a couple things, is that number one, at the front end of your follow-up, you need to ask them, hey, what is your preferred way to communicate so that we can follow up with that? The other part is that as a modern day dealer, it's important that we have an omni-channel experience where we offer all of the different channels of communication that they might want to use. Now, I love that last part you asked about, and that's like in the evening when we are not actually open. We're finding that 40% of our shopping activity is happening outside of dealership hours. And as a result, you need to have a way to be able to address and help those people with real-time answers.
And how do you address that?
So we're doing that with a combination of a couple things. We're leveraging live chat, so getting with a great partner that has a BDC center, but we've also been leveraging artificial intelligence to interact with these customers off hours. And I'm going to tell you, our goal when we initially leveraged AI was just to do a better job of building an engagement with these consumers. But what we're finding is we're actually seeing AI set up to 500 appointments per month without any human intervention. And it's because we're being more consumer facing and we're there during those dealership off hours to answer the questions they have.
I was just going to ask, so obviously the response is favorable with consumers when it comes to AI.
It is, and we had a big concern about this. And let's be straight, almost all dealers out there right now are cautious and hesitant about using artificial intelligence because they're curious, is this going to turn off consumers? And one of the questions we asked was, hey, as a modern day shopper, are you aware you're interacting with AI? and how do you feel about it? And guess what? The significant majority of the people in our UX study already are aware they're dealing with artificial intelligence. And guess what else? They're comfortable with it. They like it. What they're telling us is that, hey, if you can give us real-time answers that are accurate and are helpful to me, we're perfectly fine in working with AI. And so as a result, we're trying to leverage AI tools to better improve that consumer experience.
And I think that the after hours point is key, right? Because people are working, getting kids to sports and evening activities, and things settle down. Everyone goes to bed, and then you're up wide awake thinking, all right, am I shopping? Am I looking for a new car? So that makes complete sense. And it's great that you have that tool to be able to help out consumers all hours of the day and night. So talk about the insight that you learned from this user experience study. Every time you do them, how do you apply that?
So what we want to do is we want to make it actionable. And part of the reason why we record all this is that we share this with our teams internally. And then what we're going to do is we're going to update our website experience. What does our shopping experience look like? Does it match what consumers are looking for today? What about our lead follow-up process? Are we meeting the consumer in the middle in the channel of communication they prefer, answering the questions they need help with in the timely manner they desire? And then the final part is here actually at the dealership level. I mean, we need to understand what the consumer is looking for so that we can be, once again, best consumer facing. So we find out what the consumer is thinking, we act on it, we become as consumer facing as possible, and that's what's going to lead to success for us.
Will you be sharing these results at any future shows?
I will. So the results of this year's study, I'm going to share at the Modern Retail Conference in November. It's a Brian Pashman in West Palm Beach. And you'll be able to see for yourself the actual recorded answers of not only everything that consumers respond with, but I'm also going to share how we turn that into actionable changes that dealerships can use to become better in today's modern marketplace.
Perfect. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with, Kevin?
It's a fast-moving market. I'm following this UAW stuff every day. I'm hoping they come to an agreement soon and we can all keep moving forward on the best advantage of the consumers out there.
Well said. Kevin Frye, the marketing director of Jeff Wyler Automotive Family. Thanks so much for your expertise and insight today, Kevin. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Shyann Malone.